Imagine you've got a 30,000-pound trailer behind you and a 10% grade in front of you. Most trucks would scream for mercy, but you aren't driving most trucks. You're sitting behind the wheel of a machine that costs more than some houses and packs more torque than a literal freight train. If this engine fails now, you're not just stuck, you're a dangerous obstacle. That's the Ford Super Duty. It doesn't just tow things, it deletes the weight behind it. Today, we're breaking down why this beast owns 50% of the commercial market and whether it's actually worth the eye-watering price tag. Stick around because the towing tech we're covering in the middle of this video is going to change how you look at trucks forever. When you walk into a Ford dealership, you're faced with a choice that will define your entire ownership experience. Do you go with the Godzilla V8 or the Scorpion diesel? Pick the wrong one and you'll either be bleeding money at the diesel pump for a load you don't need, or you'll be struggling for breath at high altitudes with a gas engine that's overmatched. It's the $12,000 question. Literally, that's the price jump for the diesel. Here's the reality. The 7.3-liter Godzilla gas engine is a masterpiece of old school meets new tech. It's reliable, simpler to maintain, and sounds like a muscle car. But if you want the king, the 6.7-liter high-output Power-Stroke diesel delivers a mind-bending 500 horsepower and 1,200 pound-feet of torque. That is the highest torque figure ever put in a heavy-duty pickup. It makes a 15,000-pound trailer feel like a backpack. Backing up a trailer is the ultimate test of truck guy credibility. Everyone's watching you at the boat ramp or the campsite. One wrong turn of the wheel and you've jackknifed your $80,000 boat into your $100,000 truck. The pressure is real and the sweat is usually dripping by the third attempt. Enter Ford's Pro Trailer Hitch Assist. This isn't just a backup camera. The truck literally takes over the steering, braking, and acceleration to align the hitch ball with the trailer coupler perfectly. Then, once you're moving, the 360-degree camera system uses transparent trailer views. It uses cameras to stitch together an image that makes your trailer disappear on the screen. It's not driving, it's basically a cheat code for physics. Traditionally, heavy-duty trucks were built like tractors, lots of hard plastic and seats that felt like church pews. But if you're a hotshot driver or a rancher, you're spending 10 to 12 hours a day in this cabin. If the interior sucks, your back is ruined and your productivity dies. The new Super Duty interior is basically a private jet with a bed. We're talking about max recline seats that fold almost completely flat, so you can take a power nap at a rest stop. The center console turns into a flat work surface for your laptop, and the 12-inch infotainment screen is faster than most iPads. It's gone from a work truck to a luxury office that can also haul a mountain. People used to think heavy-duty trucks were useless off-road because they were too heavy and too long. Try taking a standard dually into a muddy job site or a sandy trail, and you'll be calling a tow truck for your tow truck within 5 minutes. These things sink like stones. That's why the Tremor package exists. Ford took the F-250 and F-350 and gave them 35-inch tires, a factory lift, and a trail turn assist. They even added trail turn assist, which brakes the inside rear wheel to help this massive bus of a truck pull a tight U-turn on a narrow trail. It's the first time a truck this big has felt genuinely nimble in the dirt. You're out at a remote job site or a campsite far from the grid. You need power for your saws, your welder, or your microwave. In the past, that meant hauling a heavy, loud, gas-smelling generator in the bed, wasting space and constantly worrying about refueling it. Now, the Super Duty features Pro Power on board. It's an integrated, exportable power system. You can plug your entire life into the outlets in the bed. It provides up to 2.0 kilowatts of power, enough to run a circular saw, a fridge, or a massive TV for a tailgating party. The truck is no longer just a vehicle, it's a mobile power plant. Everyone talks about horsepower, but nobody talks about the frame. If you put 1,200 pound-feet of torque through a weak frame, the truck would literally twist itself into a pretzel. You'd feel every bump, and the cab would squeak like a haunted house after 6 months of work. Ford uses a fully boxed frame made of over 95% high-strength steel. It's the foundation that allows for a staggering 40,000-pound max towing capacity when properly equipped. To put that in perspective, that's about 10 F-150s tied together. The rigidity of this chassis means the truck stays quiet and composed, even when it's working at its absolute limit. We have to address the elephant in the room. Ford Super Duty has a history with something called the death wobble, a violent shaking of the steering wheel at highway speeds. If you're flying down the interstate at 70 miles per hour and your steering wheel starts trying to jump out of your hands, it's terrifying. For years, this was the dark side of owning a Ford solid-axle truck. Ford has poured millions into redesigned steering dampers and heavy-duty suspension components to kill this issue. While no solid-axle truck is 100% immune to wear and tear, the current generation is the most stable and tested version ever built. They didn't just mask the problem, they re-engineered the front end to handle the massive weight of the diesel engine more effectively. We're looking at price tags that can easily clear $100,000 for a limited trim. That is an insane amount of money for a pickup truck. You could buy a Porsche for that. You could put a down payment on a house. Is it just a status symbol, or is there actual value here? For the person who uses this for work, the value is in the uptime. These trucks are designed to go 300,000 miles. They have massive oil capacities, heavy-duty cooling systems, and transmissions that are built to survive constant abuse. When you realize this truck can do the work of 3 smaller vehicles, the price starts to make a lot more sense. It's an investment in capability. The Ford Super Duty isn't just a vehicle, it's a statement of capability. Whether it's the raw power of the high-output diesel, the genius of the trailer tracking tech, or the fact that you can basically live in the cabin, Ford has managed to stay at the top of the mountain for a reason. They know their audience, and they know that for a Super Duty owner, enough is never actually enough. Building these videos takes a ton of research and editing to make sure you get the best info possible. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of heavy-duty hauling, do me a huge favor. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us keep the lights on. Also, drop a comment below. If you had $100K to spend, are you going with the Ford or are you headed over to the Chevy or Ram dealerships? I want to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.